Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Uncovering the Hidden Agendas, a video series dedicated to showing you all how Satan has put his hand of influence on just about every aspect of society. So today is part 2 of our discussion of symbols. Way back in episode 2 and a little bit in episode 5 as well, I introduced various hand signs and symbols that are used by the occult and Freemasons and followers and worshippers of Satan that are literally hidden in plain sight, as that quote says there. Hidden in logos, used by various celebrities without us even knowing the significance of them, hidden in TV shows, media, music videos, the list goes on and on. These symbols are everywhere. So we may revisit a couple of symbols that I've already talked about, but I want to introduce even more in this episode that are used by the occult without us even knowing it. Speaking of Freemasons, here's another quote. Masonry, like all the religions, all the mysteries, Hermeticism, and alchemy, conceals its secrets from all except the adepts and sages, or the elect, and uses false explanations and misinterpretations of its symbols to mislead those who deserve only to be misled, to conceal the truth which it calls light from them, and to draw them away from it. I talked a little bit about that in episode 23 as well. If you look up the meanings of these symbols, you won't get a straight answer. Or, as this quote says, you'll get a lie. So today I hope to expose the true meaning of all the symbols and hand signs I'm going to talk about today so that we can truly be more aware of Satan's agenda. So let's get right into it, starting with the skull and crossbones. This is a reminder in Masonic circles that you must die. So I don't know if that hints at a depopulation agenda, but just overall it's a symbol of our mortality. It's prominent on Master Mason trestle boards and Masonic rings. Also represents the Skull and Bones Secret Society at Yale, which I mentioned in a previous episode. And the skull is used in the 10th degree initiation of the Bavarian Illuminati. Sources say that this group lasted from 1776 to 1785, but many believe that they are still around today. So where do we see this skull and crossbones symbol in our society? We see it on TV shows, even cartoons and kids shows such as SpongeBob. You see an anime example over here. We see it in music as well, such as the Guns N' Roses band. And we see it in movies, especially horror movies. The butterfly is another symbol that is used. It's the Illuminati symbol for metamorphosis, or some type of change that happens. Also symbolic of monarch mind control. So in other words, if you see some type of butterfly symbolism, even butterfly animal print on somebody, they're trying to get into your mind and subconsciously get you to think something, do something, right? They're trying to get into your head. And once they're into your head, half the job is done. So again, we see various examples of this in music. To Pimp a Butterfly, the album cover of Kendrick Lamar's album. Beyonce's got a butterfly over one of her eyes. And I really want to highlight Miley Cyrus and Michael Jackson. Very telling that they have butterfly symbolism on their album covers, right? Both of these individuals went through a huge change. You guys remember Hannah Montana, right? The very young, innocent girl. All she did was, go to school, sing country music. Next thing you know, she's this completely different person, twerking, half naked, right? Making all kinds of seductive music videos. Like, there was a metamorphosis. There was a change represented by that little butterfly. And then Michael Jackson, a lot of the changes he went through had to do with his father. They didn't have the best relationship growing up. He didn't agree with the way he was being disciplined. And so as he grew up, he was like, I want to look nothing like that man. Started changing his nose and several features through plastic surgery, becoming the person we now know today, looking nothing like he did when he was a kid. So again, metamorphosis. You also see a butterfly in the Fantasia film. Looks like some type of magic going on, so a double whammy there. And an earlier version of Windows XP, also represented by the butterfly. A snake. This one should be pretty obvious. Symbolic of the snake in the Garden of Eden. point blank period. So we see various examples of this. Harry Potter, Alfa Romeo, looks like a snake swallowing a child, question mark. Young Thug's got a snake around his neck. Alright, even more examples in music. I'm a slave for you at the 2001 VMAs. A slave for who? Must be Satan if you got that snake around your neck. We see it in TV, kids shows. Here we go again. This is My Gym Partner is a Monkey from Cartoon Network, and Sanjay and Craig. Even though the snake looks friendly, in the end he still is representative of Satan. I know you guys remember the snake game from Nokia, and now we've got snake.io, all representative of Satan. And we see snakes in various movies as well, and all of these examples you see here are horror movies. What a coincidence. Another symbol used is the owl, a symbol of wisdom or knowledge, representative of the goddesses Athena and Minerva, and a hallmark of the Bavarian Illuminati, or the Minerval class. So where do we see an owl represented in society? First of all, going back to Minerva, this is a representation of her. It is said that she had a pet owl, right? But look at these letters on the side, AOL. And now we have AOL.com. And I did a little research on AOL. They used to have a site called Owl, right? So very significant, very telling. The logo of Mazda cars, right? Looks like an owl's face. And we'll see a lot of car examples in this video. It's even said that an owl is hidden in the $1 bill. All right, and the $1 bill is loaded. I mean loaded with occult symbolism, but we'll come back to that later. We see owls all over music and media as well. The Masked Singer, Justin Bieber has an owl tattoo, and of course Drake has a very strong connection to owls in his October's Very Own festival featuring an owl. We also see owls in TV and college sports programs, right? We've talked about the Owl House already, full of witchcraft and magic and occult-like things in a kids show. There's Harry Potter again, and a couple examples, as I said, of college sports using the owl as their mascot. 666. For all my Bible scholars, we know that this is the number of the mark of the beast. Revelation 13:18. The mark of the beast negates one's chance at eternal salvation. So in other words, you either get the seal of God or the mark of the beast. There's no in between, right? You can't be lukewarm, right? It's either one or the other. Once you get the mark of the beast, that's it. No chance at heaven for you. English occultist and magician Aleister Crowley, the wickedest man in the world, referred to himself as the Beast 666. The Church of Satan was founded in 1966 by Anton LaVey. So we also see a lot of 66 symbolism in society in addition to 666. But at the same time, if you flip that 9, then it becomes a 6, and you've got the number there as well. The AOK sign also represents this number, 3 extended fingers representing the tails of the 6s. So there's 1, there's 2, and 3. And this symbol is used by occultists to communicate with each other. So there are so many examples of this number and this hand sign being used in society. One more thing to point out about this hand sign that we thought meant AOK, but is actually 666. You see Drake has it flashed over his eye, representing not just 3 6s, but also the all-seeing eye. A double whammy there. And we'll see other examples of that too. William Shatner from Star Trek, Justin Timberlake, Elvis, the Beatles, Justin Bieber. What? I thought he was so innocent, right? I don't think so. Tyra Banks, Beyonce, Oprah, Denzel, Johnny Depp, Emma Watson from Harry Potter, Neo, Eminem, Mariah Carey, and so many more examples. Even in politics, they use this hand sign. And what? The Pope? He's supposed to be holy. He's supposed to be revered, even worshipped. Why is he using this AOK hand sign? We'll get more into that later, but that should be pretty alarming to you. So going back to the number itself, we see it hidden in various logos and brands, such as Google Chrome, the 3 6s formed around that circle. Walt Disney, 3 6s can be found in the words. So that should be a turnoff to not watch Disney Channel or any Disney movie at all, just based on that alone. Motel 6, I caught this picture driving. 3 6s are represented in the various displays of their logo. Even in healthcare, this number can be found. What's up with that? The flag for Ottawa features that AOK looking symbol, which is actually 3 6s. Nokia. This one you won't catch right away, but if you look closely, there are 3 sets of 6 lines. Phillips 66, famous gas station. So like I said earlier, 66 representing the year the Church of Satan was founded. The old logo for Adobe, it looks like a cursive A, but if you take the A apart, you can see 3 6s. Well, you might be saying, Austin, that's outdated. That's not their logo anymore. Well, let's see their new logo. See if they've converted. See if they've learned how to have a more holistic logo. So now they have just a simple A, right? But look at this closely. If you flip that A around, what is it representative of? Atheist Alliance International. Come on now. Same color and everything. Alright? Can't make this stuff up. Monster Energy. I talked a little bit about this, but this lady broke it down way better than I could have. So let's see what she had to say about the Monster Energy logo and how it relates to the Mark of the Beast, 666.
Look at your M closely. There's a gap right here in the letter M. It's never connected. So you go into Hebrew. The letter Vav is also the number 6. Short top, long tail. Short top, long tail. You could have here in Hebrew 666 on the can. But my interest is the word monster. What do you see in the O? There's a cross.
Okay.
What has Christ got to do with an energy drink, let alone the name Monster? So I thought, well, maybe this is a Christian company then. BFC at the bottom of the can. Do you know what that stands for? That's the F word. Big can. In fact, they write it on the side of the can, so I know that's the F word.
Okay.
Now, do you know what a MILF is?
Yes.
That's on the box. MILFs dig it, and you will too. This is not a Christian company at all. So why would they have a cross on the can? Here is the message. Antichrist. 666 in Hebrew. And then the Bible talks about the beast in Revelation. And look at Monster's ad. This is their statement. You see these M's everywhere. Hats, t-shirts, bumper stickers. Is there another agenda here? If God can use people and product, so can Satan. And look at it this way. Even if the M was not the issue, you cannot deny that that is a cross. And what is witchcraft? When the cross goes upside down. Bottoms up. And the devil laughs. Something to think about.
Wow.
This is how clever Satan is and how he gets into the Christian home and a Christian's life, and it breaks God's heart. Jesus said, my people perish for lack of knowledge.
Wow. All that hidden in one simple logo. Looks so simple, but it's so packed with occult symbolism. And to literally have a slogan, unleash the beast, right? Wow. That is undeniable symbolism. And something as simple as an energy drink. The devil is being worshipped. Moving on. We also see this number in TV. In Avatar, you can see 3 6s on his little medallion. 666 Park Avenue, New York's most seductive address. Seductive, temptation. That number represents temptation more than anything else. And here's one game show example. I'm sure there are many others, but hexagons, right? 6 sides, 666 symbolism. We also see it in music. If you look closely at Saw Baby's forehead, there's an upside down cross, which is another occult symbol as mentioned by the lady in the video. And 3 6s are surrounding this cross, right? We see it in music videos. Here's a song called TR-666 by Trippie Redd and Sway Lee. And of course, the older rap group 3 6 Mafia, 3 6s, 666. So speaking of Saw Baby, let's dig a little deeper into his philosophy, if you will. He once said, 666, that's 6 protons, 6 electrons, 6 neutrons. That equals carbon 12. Carbon helps make melanin, so that's the scientific makeup of people of the same skin color as me. So as a result of him saying this, Trippie Redd, Lil Uzi Vert, and many other rappers have followed suit using 666 as a symbol of black empowerment. So in other words, 666 doesn't represent the beast, it represents melanin, represents black people. But this is a lie, this is a myth. And I'm going to debunk this myth in 2 ways. First, scientifically. Now, chemistry was my worst subject in high school, so I'm not the best at it, but I did my research, and to sum it all up, carbon is an element, melanin is a chemical. Melanin is not carbon because melanin has a chemical formula. Therefore, melanin cannot be created by this combination. So that debunked it scientifically. Now let's debunk this myth biblically with Genesis 1:27, a scripture I've used quite a bit in this series. So God created man in his own image. In the image of God he created him. Male and female he created them. So God created man in his own image, right? So if he created Adam and Eve, these 2 beings, and then inserted the mark of the beast in them, quote unquote, supposedly, that's calling God the beast. And we know that's not true. That is pure blasphemy. 666 is not a symbol of black empowerment. It was the number of the mark of the beast. It is the number of the mark of the beast and will be the number of the mark of the beast. That will not change. So don't let these lies influence you. Moving on to the winged sun disk, commonly associated with Egypt, more specifically Horus, who was also born of a virgin. Here's a quote about the winged sun disk, and the meaning of the winged sun disk is this: it is the symbol of perfect aspiration towards the divine, of purification of the lower nature, and a final ascent into union with the One. So we've seen this belief system over and over, this idea of higher self, the idea that all people are some type of God, which is not true. Another quote, emblematic of the element of air, this consists of a circle or solar type disk enclosed by a pair of wings. In ritual magic, it is suspended over the altar in an easterly direction and used when invoking the protection and cooperation of the sylphs. So it has some magical connections as well. And it is still used today by the Freemasons, the Theosophists, and the Rosicrucians. So where do we see this symbol in society? The entrance to Rosicrucian Park. The symbol is right above the door. Many car logos feature the winged sun disk: Chrysler, Bentley, Mini Cooper, Aston Martin, Chevrolet, and even in the older logo of Southwest Airlines and Harley Davidson. The Vesca Piscis. This symbol has a not so PG connotation, but overall it's just to make you more aware. Supposedly meant to represent the feminine principle, the vulva of the goddess, also known as the divine passage. All that wording should be pretty self-explanatory. I'm not going to belabor that. So where do we see this sexual symbol in society? The Masonic seal of academia. Various clothing brands, which should be very telling, right? Clothing, sexuality, pretty closely intertwined. We also see it in brands for cigarettes and alcohol. Cool cigarettes and Dos Equis. In the middle of the X is an Aztec ruler, Moctezuma II. And it's very fitting that they put him in the middle of this logo, in the middle of this symbol, because he had over 100 wives and concubines. So he's very familiar with this divine passage. MasterCard also uses it, the intersection of the two circles representing this symbol. Animal print represents beta or sex kitten mind programming, promotes hypersexuality and mind control. So again, getting into your mind and feeding into your unconscious desires. And again, very fitting for Miley Cyrus to be wearing animal print for reasons we've already talked about. Animal ears represent the same thing. So we've got Rihanna, Beyonce, and Miley Cyrus sporting animal print. Bruno Mars, Kanye West, Elle Smith from the Miss Universe 2021 pageant. And that's very fitting because that whole event's about vanity and showing off, right? And we'll get more into that pageant a little later. Some more things that were represented. Jaden Smith, Prince, and the Cheetah Girls, if you guys remember that little group from back in the day. So again, targeting kids with this unconscious desire. The Baphomet, or the goat head, half goat, half human. This is a pagan idol associated with the Templars, Freemasons, Satanists, and occultists. All of these groups have been accused of worshiping the Baphomet, and of course all of them have denied it. The Baphomet represents absorption of knowledge or some type of enlightenment. Also represents fertility and sex rituals. The Latin words for separate and join together are written on its arms. So we see coagula here. Can't really tell what the other arm says. But yeah, joining disparate concepts together into one harmonious union, right? Conditioning all to accept and be involved in the New World Order, whether you like it or not. So a couple of TV examples: The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, the show on Netflix featuring a Baphomet-like figure in the background. And To Tell the Truth, an old game show. If you look closely at the figures in the background, one hand up, one hand down. We see it used by musicians as well in their jewelry and their outfits. Goat heads, goat antlers. On the clothes they're wearing, in music videos. Kendall Jenner, another example of the Baphomet being represented in jewelry with a Baphomet ring. And Madonna, in her Super Bowl performance from years back, duplicated this Baphomet pose. One arm up, one arm down. And believe it or not, this same Baphomet pose has been hidden in society, not just in the clothes and jewelry that musicians are wearing, but in the music videos and dance moves themselves. You guys remember that song, Now Watch Me Whip, Now Watch Me Nay Nay, by Salento back from 2014, I think? The Nay Nay looks exactly like this pose. One arm up, one arm down. And then another song, or another dance move, Shoop. Alright? One arm up, one arm down. The checkerboard floor. I think I've mentioned this before, but again, prominent in Masonic temples. Checkerboard floor has been a custom in place since ancient Egypt, right? So if you can tie a custom all the way back to Egyptian times, right, there's got to be some type of occult symbolism, some type of pagan symbolism somewhere or another. Symbolizes human life checkered with good and evil. So where do we see a checkerboard floor or checkerboard design in general in society? The Cartoon Network logo. So again, that should be a warning. The logo itself has occult symbolism. If you walk into any Kardashian house, chances are they're going to have a checkerboard floor. In music videos, you see quite a few examples of checkerboard floors. And even in something as simple as playing chess or checkers, is this reminiscent or representative of Freemasons? The swastika. This is an ancient symbol used by Buddhists, representing the feet or footprints of Buddha, also used by Hindus and other religions. A lot of newer religions, such as neo-Nazis and Confucian Taoism is another one that use this symbol. Associated with good fortune, the Nazi regime, of course, adopted the symbol and turned it into a symbol of hate, anti-Semitism, which means hate of Jews, and infamy. So could it be possible that something so hateful, something so dark, could be perpetrated by society? You better believe it. Sun Microsystems, a former technology company. If you invert the symbol a little bit, yes, you get the swastika. See that same symbol in the logo for General Electric. Even toys are using this symbol. Let's talk about the rainbow a little bit. So again, for my Bible scholars, this goes all the way back to the days of Noah, after the ark landed and the earth completely dried. They got off the ark. Noah made a sacrifice to God. God was pleased by this, and he said, I'll never flood the earth again. And he represented that promise with his rainbow in the sky. But what does the rainbow come to symbolize now? It became the symbol of gay pride in 1978. So let's talk about why that's ironic. Matthew 24:37-39. As it was in the days of Noah, so it will be at the coming of the Son of Man. For in the days before the flood, people were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage, up to the day Noah entered the ark, and they knew nothing about what would happen until the flood came and took them all away. That is how it will be at the coming of the Son of Man. So I emphasized marrying and giving in marriage because that was a big factor in what led to, God seeing all the wickedness happening in the world. Because back then, a lot of people weren't giving much thought to who they were marrying. They were just, getting married. And that led to this wickedness. Genesis 9, after the flood, is the beginning of the world as we know it now. After Noah exited the ark, he built an altar to God. The aroma pleased God and led him to make a covenant that he would never flood the earth again, symbolized by a rainbow. The Lord smelled the pleasing aroma and said in his heart, never again will I curse the ground because of humans, even though every inclination of the human heart is evil from childhood, and never again will I destroy all living creatures as I have done. Genesis 8:21. So look at that. God knows how sinful we are as humans, but he still said, I'm going to forgive you. I'm going to give you another chance. I'm not going to flood the earth again, and I'm going to represent it by my rainbow. But now this same rainbow, this same symbol of promise, has been converted, hate to use that word, into a symbol of gay pride. Therefore, the very symbol God used to show kindness and forgiveness has been overturned to justify sin. When people see a rainbow, they think of diversity and gay rights instead of God's promise. So taking a symbol that was once Christ-like and turning it into a symbol of sin, that's the epitome of blasphemy. But you might be saying, Austin, being gay isn't a sin, is it? Is homosexuality a sin? I've never heard any mention of it in the Bible. It's not in the Ten Commandments. Well, let's just see if God does address homosexuality in the Bible. Leviticus 20:13. If a man lies with a male as with a woman, both of them have committed an abomination. They shall surely be put to death. Their blood is upon them. Straight and to the point. They shall surely be put to death. Romans 6:23. For the wages of sin is death. And Proverbs 14:12. There is a way that seems right to a man, but its end is the way of death. Genesis 2:24, going all the way back to the first couple. Right after Eve was born or created, God said this, that is why a man leaves his father and mother and is united to his wife, and they become one flesh. So in other words, I take that scripture to mean this first couple, Adam and Eve, a man and a woman, that's a model of God's idea of marriage. And one more, Ephesians 5:22-28. Wives, submit yourselves to your own husbands as you do to the Lord. For the husband is head of the wife, as Christ is the head of the church, his body, of which he is the Savior. Now as the church submits to Christ, so also wives should submit to their husbands in everything. Husbands, love your wives just as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her to make her holy, cleansing her by the washing with water through the word, and to present her to himself as a radiant church, without stain or wrinkle or any other blemish, but holy and blameless. In this same way, husbands ought to love their wives as their own bodies. He who loves his wife loves himself. So in other words, marriage is representative of, is symbolic of God's bond with the church. God calls his wife the church, right? So that can't be represented by a man and a man, or a woman and a woman. So I might lose some subscribers or some followers over this, but if you disagree with me, you're disagreeing with the Bible. God made it very clear about his idea of marriage. And for gay marriage to be symbolized by a rainbow, a symbol that Christ used to represent his forgiveness, his giving us a second chance, that's like a slap to the face. Let's wrap it up. So some more symbolism from Miss Universe 2021. Another picture of L. Smith. Looks like a rose/cross in the background, representative of the Rose Cross of Rosicrucianism, another secret society. Miss Bulgaria, Miss Great Britain, and Miss Australia all had outfits with flowers in their hair, and this represents Anthea, the goddess of swamps and flowery wreaths, who had flowers in her head. Pagan symbolism is all around us. Miss Ghana and Miss Universe both showed up in peacock outfits, or peacock-like colors. In ancient Greece, the peacock was associated with Argos, a monster with 100 eyes that could see everything, aka the all-seeing eye, a symbol of the occult. Peacock Celtic symbolism stands for transcendence and freedom. They believe that the bird has the ability to go to the heavens. And Miss Mauritius had some kind of birdcage outfit on. What does the birdcage represent? It's just like the butterfly. Symbols of imprisonment are used in mind control programming. The symbols are a literal representation of the mental and physical bondage of Illuminati slaves. All right. The middle finger. I've been wondering for quite a while if there's some hidden symbolism behind this hand sign. And guess what? It's the sign of Kish, used to break down all barriers and to open portals into hell. So it's more than just flicking someone off or, telling someone you hate them. Opening portals into hell. Wow. And last but not least, let's look some more at the dollar bill. The pyramid, as we see here, is a key symbol in Freemasonry. The pyramid also represents the top-down structure of the Illuminati, with the plutocrats, or the elite at the top, and the peons, or the working class, the low class, at the bottom. Each level or step of the pyramid represents a socioeconomic class and its influence as well as affluence. The unfinished pyramid here is capped by the all-seeing eye, representative of Horus or Satan himself. Its position at the top represents the elite and their self-purported elevation over the rest of mankind. Pretty self-explanatory. Identical bricks in the bottom half of the pyramid may signify the minions of Lucifer, all those working under him to create or build up this new world order. Novus Ordo Seclorum. Both the capped and uncapped pyramid are used in Bavarian Illuminati assembly. The pyramid sign is flashed regularly by Jay-Z and Rock Nation, as you see here, putting your hands together to create a diamond or pyramid in the middle. It's used by pro wrestler Diamond Dallas Page, rock duo 303, and former German head of state Angela Merkel. It is also seen on governmental buildings and music videos, in movies, and by presidents. So in something as simple as putting your hands up to form a pyramid, there's a lot of deep symbolism. All of these symbols, all of these hand signs have deep symbolism. So I hope this video has made you more aware of just how clever, how sinister our society is. Feeding our unconscious desires, controlling our minds, and subconsciously putting these symbols in our minds, conditioning us to see them over and over without realizing their similarity, so that we can be conditioned into, like that Baphomet said, joining together disparate concepts, bringing everyone into this new world order, bringing everyone into a place where worshiping Satan is okay. I hope you don't fall for Satan's traps, because they are everywhere, in the little things and the big things. So turn your eyes upon Jesus. Stop looking at these music videos and movies and TV shows and celebrities that are embracing these occult symbols and hiding them in plain sight to try to lead you away from Christ. Turn your eyes upon Jesus. Look full on his wonderful face, and the things of earth will grow strangely dim in the light of his glory and grace. So keep your eyes stayed on Jesus. Stay rooted in his word. Pray for the Holy Spirit to lead you and guide you into living a Christ-like life and lead you away from things that are not of Christ. That's my prayer for everyone watching this video. Hope to see you all in the next episode. Be vigilant, my friends.